Hey guys, it is Russ Ruffino from Clients on Demand, and on today's show, we are going to be talking about the horrendous cost of saying, I'll figure it out. Stay tuned. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Russ, and I'm joined today by the incredible, the absolutely brilliant, the amazing Jane Jewell, who is our managing director here at Clients on Demand, who just happens to be the best mindset and performance coach on the freaking planet. And today we're going to be talking about the horrendous cost of saying, I will figure it out. JJ, what's going on?
Hello, good to be here with you today.
Yeah, definitely. So guys, look, this is a very important topic because it's such a temptation for entrepreneurs, especially if you're self-motivated and self-driven, and especially if you're a coach. If you're a coach, you get basically paid to solve other people's problems. I mean, that's why they come to you, or at least to help other people solve their own problems. And so there's this whole mentality of I will figure it out. I am resourceful. I am smart. But that's a mentality and a mindset that if you take it too far, can absolutely cost you millions of dollars in your business or make it take years longer than it otherwise would for you to hit your goals. You know what I'm talking about? So it's go ahead, JJ.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I love so much how you talk about that resourceful piece of it where, you'd think that is such a great quality, right? Everyone is, that's something that everyone strives for, to have that resourcefulness. And, I pride myself on being resourceful, but I totally know what you're talking about in this instance, that sometimes when you overuse something or use it in an area that's not really going to get you to where you want to go the fastest or most effective way possible, it kind of becomes a weakness.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. So it's like anything else. Too much of it, once you have too much of something, too much confidence, it can pass through into being some prideful, arrogant jerk. If you're too organized, it can go into just now you're trying to micromanage every little thing. Well, being resourceful is no different. It's great to be resourceful, and one of your global beliefs for your entire life should be, whatever it is, I can figure it out. But what we want to touch base with you on today is to say, just because you can figure something out from scratch doesn't necessarily mean you should. So look, when you're talking about building a successful coaching business, not even successful, we're talking Clients on Demand successful. We're talking about the kind of successful that we bring our clients to, which is to build a 6-figure coaching business or a 7-figure coaching business or a multiple 7-figure coaching business like we have so many clients doing now. By the way, quick side note, the reason I'm tan is because we just got back from Miami. We did an incredible event for our highest level mastermind. That's our Millionaire Alliance. And it was just amazing how many people in the room who have been working with us for 2 years, 3 years, we're running multiple 7-figure businesses. They're going to do $5 million this year. They're going to do $4 million this year. And when they came to us, they were totally struggling. They were just starting out. It was like a one-person show. And now many of these people have their own companies, they have their own teams, and they're just absolutely crushing it and taking their businesses to the next level. So that's the kind of success that we're talking about. I'm not talking about getting your first client or your next 2 clients, even though those are important steps. What I'm talking about is if you set your sights on creating really big success in your coaching business, then being resourceful is a good thing. But trying to figure everything out on your own is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. So look, guys, there's so much that you have to figure out. First of all, you have to figure out what is your offer. Then you have to figure out what are you going to charge for it. Then you're going to figure out who are you going to target? Who's your target audience? Who do you want to work with? Who do you not want to work with? Then you have to figure out your messaging. What are you going to say to those people to get them to want to work with you? Then you got to figure out where you're going to advertise. And that's a whole minefield of its own. You're going to advertise on Facebook or YouTube. I can tell you from experience, guys, that if you choose the wrong settings in your Facebook ads, they will take you to the freaking cleaners. They will spend every last dime that you've set in your daily budget without giving you any results whatsoever. And the worst part is they won't even tell you why. So, we've helped so many people now, literally hundreds of coaches, thousands of coaches scale their businesses to the 6-figure mark and 7-figure mark and beyond. As I can tell you, there's a lot of stuff that you have to get right. And that's why our clients come to us. They come to us because they want to get all those little details step by step by step. But if you're trying to figure this stuff out on your own, I can't even imagine how difficult it would be to have to figure out each little piece step by step by step. It's something that can take you years and years. And there's a tremendous price to be paid for thinking that way. Does that make sense?
There's so many different pieces to this process of taking your business online and being able to attract the right clients for the problem that you solve. And this idea of trying to go at it alone because you're resourceful. I don't know. I love what you're saying in terms of you want that quality of resourcefulness. You want that to be a part of your identity and what you do. And sometimes being resourceful means being resourceful enough to find the people that can really help you achieve that result in a way that's going to be really effective. You know, it reminds me a long time ago, I was watching all of these DIY home improvement shows. And I decided I was going to DIY a desk, Russ, me. Like, I don't build. And I was like, oh my gosh, how hard can it be? And, I guess if it's a hobby, that's one thing. But I decided I'm going to build this desk because, this is years and years ago before I had kids. I was going to save money. It was going to be awesome. Right. I had this look that I wanted. And I go and get all the materials to do this desk. And I'm measuring. Of course, you measure wrong because I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm following a video. And so, of course, then I have to go buy more materials. And then, the process just went on and on and on. Don't get me started on trying to paint it and making sure it was level because it tipped over. It was a nightmare. And although I pride myself on being super resourceful, the truth of the matter is if I really wanted a working desk, I should have just bought one.
Exactly. Yeah. Or maybe had someone come over and show you how to do it.
Exactly.
And you could do it with them.
Exactly.
So,
have someone coach me through it.
Well, right. So guys, that's a really, really important distinction. Okay. In most of what you're going to see online, you're going to see 3 different levels of service, right? You're going to see show you how to do it is sort of the first level. Do it with you is the second level. And do it for you is the third level. So in that first level, it's like what Jane just did. They just gave her a bunch of videos or whatever and said, hey, go figure out how to build a desk. And yeah, maybe the videos were good. Maybe the videos weren't so good. Maybe they were easy to follow. Maybe they were hard to follow. But the bottom line is they're just handing you a set of instructions and you got to figure it out. Now, it's important for you to understand most of what you see for sale online in your Facebook feed, in your YouTube ads that you see, and all that stuff, 95% probably is going to be that. It's going to be show you how to do it, where they give you some instructions and they just kind of like, hey, go figure this out. Now, the tempting thing about those is they're usually pretty cheap. You can find someone selling you a guidebook on how to do Facebook ads for like $27 or $47. But most of the time, guys, you get what you pay for. And for most of the big problems in our lives, having a great business, having a great, getting into great shape, being healthy, taking control of your marriage, having a fantastic relationship, all those things. Most of the time, guys, the problem, the thing that's really holding us back is not really a lack of information. There's a whole other dimension of success that goes along with it. Look, most of the people that I know that are trying to get in shape, they have a bookshelf filled with books and stuff about how to get in shape. They've bookmarked every YouTube video. They've watched every video. They know what they need to do. The problem is actually doing it. So look, most of the stuff that you see for sale online, the instruction itself is not going to be any good. It's just not, because most people just don't know what they're doing. And a very, very small percentage of the time, you might find an information product that actually has good information. But believe me, that's not what's holding you back. That's not what's stopping you. So the next level, the done with you, that to me is the absolute sweet spot. And we'll come back to that in a second. Now let's talk about done for you. Done for you is also very tempting because there's a huge temptation to say, hey, just come and do this for me. Come and set up my business for me. Come and set up my funnel for me. Come and set up my ads for me. Come and set up all these things and just do it for me. Just take care of it. Do it for me. And I understand why that's tempting, especially if you're an entrepreneur and especially if you value your time. You're not going to want to sit there and do those things yourself. But there's a huge trap when it comes to that done for you. And that trap is that you're not going to know what those people did. So I see offers all the time where it's like, hey, we'll launch your coaching business for X amount of money, or we'll build your whole funnel for you and you don't have to lift a finger. We'll do the whole thing for you. The problem is if you hire someone to do that, A, you're not going to know what the hell they did. B, you're not going to understand the thought process behind why they did what they did. And C, you're going to be absolutely dependent on those people in the future if you ever need to change anything. So in other words, it sounds like you're buying freedom when you buy a done for you thing, because like all these people are just going to do it for me, right? But you're not going to know the ins and outs and the nuts and bolts of your own business. And I can't think of a worse place to be where you're totally dependent on some agency. And without them, you're absolutely stuck because you don't even know what the heck they did. And when you don't know what the hell someone else is doing for you, you can't even assess the quality of it. So you hire some people and they build a marketing funnel for you, or they build a Facebook campaign or something for you, and they do the whole thing for you. The whole thing's a black box. You have no idea what they did. If you don't have any expertise at all in this space, you're not going to have any way of assessing whether they did a good job or not. And so they're just going to take your money, and hopefully you got something good, but probably you didn't. And even if you did get something good, you don't have the expertise or the knowledge to understand how to use it properly. Does that make sense, guys? So let's take it back now to done with you. Now, to me, that is the sweet spot. And there's a really good reason for that. It's because not only are you going to get the same outcome, but you're going to understand how you got that outcome. And you're going to build a real skill set for yourself. Now, look, very, very few of the coaching programs and workshops for sale online are done with you. Again, most of the time, it's like an agency that's like, oh, we're going to do this for you. And those are pretty rare. But 95% of the time, we're going to show you how to do it. There's a very, very small handful of people that are doing done with you. But you know what? Those are the guys that are getting results, because they're taking you by the hand and walking you step by step through the process of building a great business. And if they're really good at what they do, they're going to do what we do at Clients on Demand, which is to have top-level mindset and performance coaches like Jane, who can coach you through not just the strategic piece, but also the self-sabotage, the self-doubt, the overwhelm, the freakouts, all that stuff that always comes up when you're operating outside your comfort zone. So those done with you programs are really what you ought to be looking for, guys. So look, you understand there's a horrendous cost to saying you're going to figure it out on your own. And I don't know why you would want to do that. There's so much trial and error. There's so much expense. There's so much whatever, but not all programs, if you want to invest in something, are created equal. And those done with you programs, in my opinion, are the absolute best. That's the way to go.
There's such a huge distinction there that I'm hoping people like really heard and grabbed onto it, because it is an absolute disaster when you hire someone to perform a job or to get a certain result when you have no idea whether or not they're getting closer to where you want to go, they're moving further away, or let's just say it works and now you can't duplicate it, and you're always going to be dependent on it and never being able to shift or make good, wise decisions if you don't at least understand the basics of what's most important to each one of these pieces, or to anything that you're wanting to accomplish. So I think that this is such an important point that people miss, because I think people fall in different camps, right? There's the camp of like me at 20 years old trying to make this desk, where you're like, okay, I'm going to be resourceful. I'm going to figure it out and just go at it. And I think that quality can be admirable, that you have that tenacity and you're trying. The problem is that if you don't have the proper coaching to really make it work or make adjustments or optimize, it's going to take a long time. It's not ever really going to be the picture that's on Pinterest or get you the result that you want to do. And then you have the other people kind of on the whole other spectrum, like you just spoke about this. Oh, I'm just going to hire somebody. I'm just going to hire somebody to get it done. And that's okay. Maybe if it's a project, there's a start and a stop. But what happens is that's not okay if it's something that's an ongoing area or an ongoing thing, like a business that has to constantly be up-leveled or scaled or expanded or changed or shifted. And you have to be nimble and flexible. And so I think those are two big scales of where people will fall, when the truth of the matter is that you really need to learn how to do it yourself, at least to get that coaching, get that expertise, and be able to have a really good working knowledge of anything that you're trying to do, so that you can optimize, you can grow, and you can scale. And that's one of the best things about having, like you said, a coaching program where you're doing it with someone, where you're executing, you put yourself out there, you do something, you put some product, you put some service, you put whatever it is out into the world, right? And then you get some information, you get some data, you're looking at, is it working or is it not working? And then you have a coach there that can see that expertise and help you to optimize and shift and make it into and get that result that you're really craving and you're wanting. And only somebody who knows how to do that can really give you that kind of coaching.
Oh, for sure. So guys, listen, I learned this the hard way. When I was first starting out, I really was dreading Facebook ads. All right. We're talking about, this is like 7 or 8 years ago. This is like when I was just kind of getting into the high ticket coaching space like we are today. I was dreading learning how to do Facebook ads. Before that, most of my traffic had come from like affiliates and joint ventures and doing launches and all this stuff. And that whole model sucks. And we've done whole shows about why that model sucks. I'm not going to get into it here. But anyway, I realized that I needed to be able to drive traffic that wasn't dependent on anyone else, that wasn't dependent on affiliates and JV partners and that kind of thing. So I said, okay, look, well, let me get this Facebook thing going. But here's the mistake I made. Rather than learning how to do Facebook ads myself, I went out there and I hired some of the very best people in the business. Now, people you've heard of, okay? Like if you know anything about the big names in Facebook, those are the people I hired. But you know what? I hired my first one, they crashed and burned. I hired the second one, they crashed and burned. I hired the third one, they crashed and burned. And then eventually I started to go, wait a minute, maybe it's not these Facebook people, maybe it's me. And the reason I had so much problems is because they would talk to me about things like your click-through rate, your cost per click, your, how many impressions you were getting and all these different metrics. And I had no idea what they were talking about. And so they would share this data with me and they would say, well, Russ, what do you think? Should we do this or should we do that? Do you want us to do this or do you want us to do that? And I had no idea what they're talking about. And I'm like, oh yeah, go do that, guys. That sounds good. But they, inside I'm sitting there going, what are these guys talking about? And so I literally went through Facebook expert after Facebook expert after Facebook expert, and I fired all of them, but it wasn't their fault. It was because I didn't know enough about what was happening to come up with a good strategy. And I didn't know enough about what was happening to manage those people effectively. So it wasn't until I went out there and I paid for coaching to learn how to do Facebook ads myself that I was able to go out there and actually get pretty good at it myself. And then I could hand it off to someone else who came on board my team. And then after that, we crushed it because we were all on the same page. You understand? So it's really tempting to just say, well, I'm just going to go hire someone to do that for me. But we're not talking about a desk, okay? Like Jane's trying to build a desk on her own. It's like, dude, just go buy a desk, okay? No, we're talking about your business. We're talking about the economic engine that is going to fuel your entire life. It's going to determine your income. It's going to determine the impact you make in the world. It's going to determine how much freedom you have to enjoy your life. Your business is, except for maybe your family, your business is the most important thing in your life. And in fact, I would say your business and the quality of your business makes a huge impact on your family, where you can have a great family, great relationships with your wife, great relationship or your husband, great relationships with your kids, whatever. But if your business is struggling and failing and there isn't enough money coming in, there's going to be a constant tension in your family, no matter how much you love each other, because the stress is constant. So you got to understand, guys, that your business is the most important thing. So do not take it lightly. Don't just sit there and say, well, I'm going to hire someone to do that and they're going to do a great job and everything's going to be fine. No, it's not. And even if they do a good job, like I said, you're not going to have any understanding of what they did. And so you're going to be totally dependent on them. You're going to be powerless. And by the same token, the flip side of that coin is don't say, well, I'm going to figure this out on my own because I'm stubborn and I'm tough and I can figure this out. So I'm going to go watch a bunch of YouTube videos and 1, 2, 3, alakazam, I'm going to have this great business. Guys, let me tell you something, okay? There are so many pitfalls. There's so many pitfalls. Do you have any idea how many people who try to build an online income for themselves don't make it? It's got to be 90, 95, 98%. I've known so many people that were starting out at the same time I was, that now they're working at like Home Depot or they went out and got a job because they couldn't make it work online. And a big part of the reason why is they were so stubborn that they didn't want to invest in the coaching and the mentoring to find out how to really do this. Guys, I say this on the show all the time, but it bears repeating. Your average doctor in the United States of America, I think makes around $165,000 a year. We've got clients, and they go to school for like 9 years, 10 years to learn how to do that. We've got clients that are doing $400,000 or $500,000 a month. And so if you think you're going to build a business at that level on your own without anybody helping you, you're out of your mind. You wouldn't sit there and say, well, I'm going to build a medical practice by myself. Okay, great. Are you going to go to medical school? Nah, I'm going to watch some ER. I'm going to watch some Doogie Howser. I've seen a bunch of medical shows. I'm good. No, it doesn't work that way, guys. You have to be willing to make the investment, because if you don't, you're not going to know what you're doing, and it's going to take years. And then your dream is going to be dead in the water. And that's definitely not what we want for you. You understand? So, be resourceful. Okay. We want you to be resourceful, but don't take that to such a level that you're not willing to take the shortcuts that are available, like learning from the people that know how to do this. Make sense, guys?
Yeah. Resourcefulness does not replace coaching, right? Resourcefulness does not replace that at all.
It adds to it. In fact, look, guys, the three things we look for in our clients is we look for resourcefulness, right? So we look for clients that are coachable, decisive, and resourceful. That's our big three. Those are the three qualities we're looking for, right? So are you coachable? Are you willing to learn something new? Are you decisive? Do you make decisions quickly? And are you resourceful? And everything in our marketing is designed to attract those kinds of people. So there's nothing wrong with resourcefulness, like Jane said. But what I'm telling you is that if you let your resourcefulness kind of transform into like a toxic stubbornness of just saying, I'm going to figure this out on my own, you're not going to make it. I can tell you right now, you're not going to make it. When we're on the phone with someone and that person's like, I'll figure this out, they're not going to make it. And how do I know that? I know because we checked. When I was first starting out in this business, I made an offer to the people on my list. And I was going to do mentoring. I was going to help some people, build their business from scratch and get it off the ground. It was a really, really cool offer. And I made this offer on my list. And I had about 80 people reach out to talk to me. And this is like almost 10 years ago now. But I had about 80 people reach out, and spoke to all 80 and made offers to most of them. And I think about 20 of them, 22 or something like that, signed up to work with me. Now, those people went on to get some amazing, amazing results. Now, fast forward like a year later, maybe it's like 6 or 7 or 8 months later. And I'm sitting there, I'm going through my notes, and I come across my notes from all these 80 conversations I had with these different people. And I was like, oh man, I wrote down, what their income goal was and what they wanted to achieve and their dreams. I took like really, really good notes. I was like a big note taker at the time. So I had like pages of notes on every conversation I had. And so I was cleaning up, I was going through my notes, and I found all these things. I was like, oh man, what happened to those people? All those people that didn't decide to work with us, all those people that didn't sign up. I was like, all of them were like, they all said the same thing. Oh yeah, man, I'm confident I can figure this out on my own. I'm confident I can make it. I'll figure this stuff out. And at the time I was so naive that I thought to myself, oh, maybe they will, So I just out of curiosity, I was like, you know what, man, let me call some of these people up and just see what happened. Well, like what became of these people? And I called, everybody that didn't sign up, and I got through to most of them. And do you know how many of them had gone on to hit their income goals? Zero. Not a single one. Every single one of them, when I spoke to them, was like, yeah, Russ, I'm trying to get to 10,000 a month or 20,000 a month or whatever. And they had these great goals. And most of them had really strong reasons why. Hey, man, I want to get to 20,000 a month so I can get my kid out of this terrible public school that he's been stuck in and put him in this great private school. And I was like, oh man, that's such a great reason. Let me help you do that. And then they would back off and say, no, I'll figure this out on my own. Guys, not a single one of them went on to hit their income goals. And some of them had even shut down their business. Russ, I took a managing job here. I'm working there. And they had given up on their dream because they were so stubborn that they thought they could figure it out on their own. And guys, that was a big lesson for me. It was a big lesson because I realized that, man, almost nobody figures it out on their own. Everybody needs help. I needed help. I'm really talented. I'm good at this stuff. I'm talented at this stuff. I'm smart. I needed help. I needed a lot of coaching, a lot of mentoring. I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on that stuff so that I could learn the skills I needed to build the business that we have today. And Jane, you've been doing this for your whole life, basically. So there's a massive cost to saying that you're going to do this on your own or to saying that you're going to figure it out on your own. And really, why would you? It's like if all these problems that you're struggling with, there's somebody else out there that's already solved every single one of them, not just for themselves, but for dozens of clients, hundreds of clients, thousands of clients. Why would you sit there and try to figure those problems out from scratch when someone could just hand you the answer? You know what I mean?
Yeah, anything that you do, right? Even if you're on the right direction and who knows, maybe you'll eventually figure it out. But it's one of those things that every time you start something new, you're going to come up against challenges. Like that's just what happens, right? You put yourself out there, you decide to do something, you try to master something. And if you're going it alone, you're always going to hit a challenge. And sure, you might be able to keep working at it and keep solving it and keep going and going until you solve the problem. But there will always be problems and there will always be challenges. And if you know that, hey, there is this process to get from where you are to where you want to go, and it's this step and then this step and this step. And when you hit this challenge, okay, here are some possible solutions and let's solve that for you. And then you hit this next challenge. And so really the question is do you want to have to spend all of your time and your money and your resources trying to solve problems that have already been solved? And that's the thing that you really got to look at. How much time do you want to invest in solving problems that have already been solved, that there's already a solution on the other side of that? And that's what really got me in terms of just shifting my mindset around getting coaching and training and getting help, was realizing that it's kind of a waste of my time. And I really value that utilitarian part of like going somewhere the fastest way. You know, sometimes my husband and I will even, have this little disagreement where he's like taking the shortcut. I'm like, or going the long way around. I'm like, what are you doing? The fastest way is from here to here. That's what we should be the most efficient. And oftentimes when you try to go along, you're just not being efficient. So, that's what I value, is being efficient and making sure that you have someone that's going to hold your hand through something and you can get there the shortest way possible and really stand on the shoulders of the people that have gone before you.
Yeah, guys, it's tough. All right. Making it is tough. I can't emphasize that. There's so many challenges. There's so many problems to solve. So if you're trying to figure those things out on your own, when you could just, hey, hire somebody who can just show you exactly what to do. I mean, trying to build a coaching business is like walking across a minefield. I mean, there's so many different ways things can go wrong and just blow up in your face. I've seen it over and over and over again. And if you're not willing to just, if there's someone on the other side of the field that can tell you where all the mines are and exactly what to do. Hey, go here, don't go here, do this, don't do this. And you're not willing to avail yourself of that. It's crazy. Guys, like, people apply every day to come and talk to us about working together. And so many of them have spent years just doing all the wrong things, all the wrong strategies. They're sitting there trying to build an audience. They're on Instagram. They're posting 12 times a day, 15 times a day. I saw a guy said he was posting 16 times a day to Instagram. It's like, oh my God. First of all, who cares? But then second of all, like, somebody told him that if you want to make high ticket sales and you want to get high ticket clients, you got to be on Instagram that much. And you shouldn't even make an offer to the people that to your audience until you've got at least 1 million, 2 million, 3 million followers. And I was just like, what are you doing? And so now this guy's sitting there and he's grinding out all these posts on Instagram day after day after day, just trying to get noticed and trying to stand out like in this sea of content. We see people doing strategies like that and they've burned years doing that and they haven't gotten anywhere and they're not going to get anywhere. There's people that'll tell you, hey, if you want to have $1 million coaching business, you got to write a New York Times bestseller. And so they're sitting there like working on their book for God knows how long, and then trying to figure out how to launch it, trying to figure out how to promote it. There's people that say, hey, if you want to get high ticket clients, you got to go on the road and you got to do a ton of speaking gigs. You got to go here, you got to go there. And it's like, we talk to people that, hey, through no fault of their own, they just bought into some of those strategies and it's cost them years, either because they didn't know there was a shorter path or because they didn't take it. But there is a shorter path, a much, much, much shorter path. There's a reason, guys, that we take our clients who no one's ever heard of. They don't have a big following. They don't have a big audience. And we turn them into millionaires very, very quickly. And even now, many of them are still flying under the radar. They still don't have a big audience. They still don't have a big following, but they're making 7 figures and they're making a huge difference. And they're changing the world one client at a time. It's because you need someone who can show you not just what to do, but what not to do. All the stuff that you can set aside. And I'll tell you something else. In any market, in any niche, anywhere, the conventional wisdom is always wrong. Let me say that again. The conventional wisdom is always wrong. How do I know? Because in just about every, like in the fitness niche, right? How many people in the fitness niche are really getting results? How many people in the dating niche or the relationship niche are really turning their relationships around and transforming their relationships? How many people in marketing are really building $1 million business? Very, very, very few. So what does that tell you? It tells you that what everybody's saying is not the truth. If you see like 90% of people all saying the same thing, I guarantee you that thing is wrong. Guaranteed. So you must find the people that know exactly what they're talking about, because if you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're going to get where everyone else is going, which is usually nowhere.
I love that. It's interesting when I like listening to you talk, Russ, and talking about that conventional wisdom. You know, my husband says it all the time. Look what everybody else is doing and do something opposite of that, you know, where I think oftentimes people will grab onto like everybody's doing this one thing, so I should do that too. Right. And you make assumptions. In my kids, I have a 13-year-old and a 16-year-old. And they'll say something, they'll say, I hear this at least once a week. So-and-so on Instagram, or so-and-so on TikTok, or so-and-so on YouTube. Oh my gosh, Mom, they're making so much money. And I just laugh and laugh, because there's this sense of doing what everyone else is doing, or this sense of, oh, if someone has a lot of followers, they must have this successful business, or, you know, they must have a certain amount of wealth generated. And every time I hear that, Russ, I laugh so much, because I know, having been in this business, that, you know, followers or friends or whatever who are watching different things doesn't necessarily equate to a really smart business model.
Not at all. And it doesn't equate to income. It doesn't at all. I mean,
no.
How many people reach out to us that have these huge followings and they're maybe making $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month? And look, that's not chump change, but compared to making $100,000, $200,000 a month, it is. And it's funny, because people see these ultra successful people and they look at what they're doing and they try to imitate what they think the person is doing without really understanding what's going on behind the scenes that's generating that success. It's like if I wanted to be a famous singer and I saw Michael Jackson wearing one glove and I was like, oh, well, that must be, that's the secret. That's the ticket.
Must be the
glove. Go out there and get the one glove. And now I'm wearing my one glove and doing my moves and I'll be as famous as Michael Jackson. It's like, you don't know what that person is doing that is truly producing success. And most of the time, even if that person's a coach and they're teaching people how to produce success, so many times we see that what the person is teaching is the total opposite of what they actually did. Where, you know, maybe what they're teaching you is how to have a great brand and how to have a beautiful website and how to have beautiful pictures. But the way they're making their money is by doing launches or by having a powerful funnel. But they're not teaching you that bit. They're teaching you the other stuff. So, you know, number one, it's like, don't do things on your own. And number two, make sure you find the exact right person who can show you not just what to do, but what not to do. And number three, if what that person is teaching you is the same thing as everybody else, I can tell you right now, that conventional wisdom is wrong. It's always wrong. Always, always, always. What you want to do is you want to find the people that are doing something different. They're doing something unique. And because what they're doing is unique, they're creating a vastly superior result to what most other people are doing. And that's really all it's about, guys. At the end of the day, it's like, is this coach getting incredible results or not? That's all that really matters. Are their clients crushing it? Or are their clients struggling? And it doesn't matter how good their marketing is or how good their branding is or how much you like listening to them or whatever it is. I mean, those things are cool. But at the end of the day, if you're counting on someone to get you results, that person better get you freaking results. It's like if I've got some terrible illness or some terrible disease and I'm assessing doctors, I can sit there and go, well, this guy is really handsome and good looking, or this woman is, really beautiful and smart. And this guy had, went to this incredibly prestigious university and that gal went to an incredibly prestigious university. It's like, no, the only thing I care about is what kind of outcomes are your patients getting? Are your patients making it? Or are they not making it? And I want to go to the person who's got the highest percentage of people that are making it. That's how I would choose a doctor. And that's how you should choose a coach too. Who are the people that are getting the real results and who are the people that aren't? So look, guys, just to recap, you absolutely should not be trying to figure this stuff out on your own. It is too hard. It's way too hard. And the most successful coaches and consultants out there, if they're telling you the truth, will tell you that they invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in learning how to do this stuff. And sometimes they, like me, sometimes I hired the right person, sometimes I didn't. But either way, I knew from the very beginning, I wasn't just going to sit there and bang my head against the keyboard trying to figure this stuff out. So you must take advantage of that shortcut. If someone can come along and tell you exactly what to do and exactly what not to do, and if someone's offering a done with you solution where they're going to show you how to do it and then they're going to hold your hand and coach you every step of the way, that's what you want. And if that's what you want, then I want to invite you to come and talk to us about how we can help you do exactly that. Look, I could be wrong, but as far as I know, to my knowledge, we have turned more coaches into millionaires than any other online program out there. And all of them, their journey all started with booking a call and getting some help. So that's what I want to invite you to right now. I want you to go to clientsondemand.com/talk. That's clientsondemand.com/talk. That's going to pull up our calendar page and you can see all of the available appointment times for the next few days. Pick whichever appointment time works for you and we will call you at the time that you chose. Now, on that call, we'll put our heads together for about 45 minutes. You can tell us everything you've been working on, everything you've been doing, exactly what your income goals are, the exact kind of clients that you want to work with, the exact kind of clients you don't want to work with. And we'll put our heads together and we'll come up with a step-by-step game plan to get you where you want to go. And just like I've been saying, and like Jane's been saying on this call, there's probably so much stuff that you've been doing that you just don't have to do anymore. And how great is that? I mean, what if you could drop 90% of the marketing stuff that you've been doing, the busy work, and just focus on the 10% that's really going to create an extraordinary result? That's what we want to give you on that call. We want to give it to you for free. Now, look, obviously the reason we do that is because we know that once we put our heads together and come up with that plan with you, that you might want our help to implement it. And if that's what you want, we can talk about that. But if not, that's okay too. Either way, our goal is to give you massive value because look, nothing makes us more angry than when good coaches with real value to give to the world, whatever your business is, with real value to give to the world are just stuck with these outdated strategies that don't work. Look, I believe that whatever your business is, you were put here to make a difference, a real difference for your clients. And they need you, not some other coach, not some other consultant. They need you. But if your marketing isn't dialed in, they're never going to be able to find you. And that means they're never going to fix their problems and you're never going to get a new client and you're never going to build the business that you want. That's not what we want. We want the opposite of that. We want you to have great marketing so the exact right people can find you every single day and come and enroll with you and work with you at $5,000, $8,000, even $10,000 prices. And that can be the foundation of this incredible business that you're building. Real quick, guys, we were at that Millionaire Alliance event in Miami. And like I said, so many of our clients have crossed the 7-figure mark. But what was really amazing was to hear about the difference that our clients are making in the lives of their clients. So like Lydia was there. She helps women who have eating disorders and she helps them overcome those eating disorders. Who else, JJ? Megan. Megan works with troubled kids that have kids that are overly sensitive, kids that have massive emotional problems, and she helps them turn that situation around. And she helps the parents learn how to parent that kid properly. I mean, the stories that we were hearing, not just of our client success, but of the difference they were making in the world was just unbelievable, JJ.
It was amazing. We have some great relationship coaches in the program, some that work with men, some that work with women, some that work with both parties. And I think that the truth of the matter is it didn't even matter what problem they solved. They were all doing such extraordinary things with their clients. I mean, one of the things that I am just so proud of what we created here at Clients on Demand is that we've created a transformational program from a business coaching program, right? So it's like all of our clients have really taken that model, not just from what we teach them in terms of how to set up their marketing system so that they can have, a real business that works with real clients, that makes, a real difference, and a real impact in the world, is that it doesn't matter what they're in, whether they're helping people to become a better singer or have a better relationship or dial in their health or create an amazing real estate business. They're all creating an impact in their clients' lives. And those are just the best stories where you hear like, oh my gosh, I think I'm just helping someone build their real estate business. But what happened is they got their whole life back. And it seems a little cliche to say, but it's still true.
It is true. And I mean, and when you see it in action, it's like, this is not happening in everyone else's programs. People are becoming a better, stronger, more powerful version of themselves and delivering whatever their magic is in a much more powerful way because now they can reach those people that are just begging for their help. And we want to help you set up that kind of system too. It can be so much simpler than you ever thought possible. And like I said, you can probably drop like 80 to 90% of the marketing stuff that you're doing right now. It's all right there for you. But the first step is you have to book a call. So go to clientsondemand.com/talk. JJ, any parting shots about this topic?
I just want to encourage you, if you've had some kind of opening or like a little light bulb that went off during this conversation where you go, oh my gosh, I'm done messing around. I'm done trying to figure this out. I'm done just relying on my resourcefulness. I just urge you and encourage you to reach into that resourceful part of yourself and to move through whatever constraints you have and just book that call. Because there is nothing like finding the right coaches to partner with that's going to take your life and your business to the next level. And we believe that you all deserve that. So book that call.
Absolutely, guys. So go to clientsondemand.com/talk and book that appointment. And we will see you on the next show. Bye-bye, guys. Hey, thanks for tuning in to today's show. If you guys want to subscribe, there's a little picture of me. You can click that button right over there. If you want to book a breakthrough session with our team, which you absolutely should do, then you can click that button there or go to clientsondemand.com/talk to book an appointment to speak to us. We'll go ahead and catch you on the next show. Bye-bye.